Have you ever wondered what could be the most dangerous prayer you could ever pray? Well, let's unravel this thought together. When we talk about a dangerous prayer, we're not implying harm or peril. Rather, we're referring to a prayer so potent, it has the ability to transform your life, to change the very essence of who you are. Now let me introduce you to a prayer, a three-word plea that holds such transformative power. It's simple yet profound. It's a humble request, yet a bold declaration. It's "Use me, God." At first glance, it might not seem like much, but when you truly contemplate these three words, you realize their immense depth. This prayer is not a casual wish or a fleeting thought. It's a powerful plea for God to employ you in His divine scheme. It's an open invitation for the Creator of the universe to mold you, shape you, and utilize you as He sees fit. It's a declaration that you're ready to step out of your comfort zone, to surrender your will, your plans, your aspirations to His grand design. It's a prayer that echoes your willingness to be a vessel, to be an instrument in the hands of the Almighty. When you pray, "Use me, God," you're offering yourself to be a part of something much bigger than yourself. You're acknowledging the fact that God's plan is far superior to your own, and you're ready to submit to it. It's a plea that signifies your readiness to be directed by God, to be guided by His wisdom, to be led on paths you wouldn't have chosen on your own. This prayer, however, is not for the faint of heart. It's for those who are ready for a life-changing journey, for those who are willing to let God take the reins of their life. It's a call to adventure, a call to growth, a call to transformation. This prayer, "Use me, God," is a call for a life-changing mission. So are you ready to pray the most dangerous prayer? The Bible is filled with stories of humble and obedient individuals who changed the world. Let's delve into the lives of three such individuals, Moses, David, and Mary, who despite their initial insecurities or inadequacies, allowed God to use them in remarkable ways. First, we journey to the dusty plains of Egypt, where we meet Moses, a man who initially felt inadequate and ill-equipped to lead the Israelites out of slavery. Despite his stammer and self-doubt, Moses humbly accepted God's call. He wasn't a perfect man, but his obedience and humility allowed God to use him to deliver His people and bring about monumental change. Our next stop is the verdant pastures of Bethlehem, where we find David, a humble shepherd boy. David was the youngest of 8 sons, often overlooked and underestimated. Yet it was his humble obedience, not his stature or strength, that caught God's eye. This shepherd boy would grow up to be a king, a man after God's own heart, and the ancestor of the Messiah. David's story teaches us that no matter how insignificant we feel, God can use us in mighty ways when we humbly submit to His will. Finally, we travel to the quiet town of Nazareth, where we find Mary, a young woman who humbly accepted a divine task that would forever change the world. Despite the potential for misunderstanding and scandal, Mary obediently accepted God's call to become the mother of Jesus. Her humble response, "Behold, I am the servant of the Lord, let it be to me according to your word," is a powerful testament to her faith and obedience. These stories of Moses, David, and Mary illustrate that God doesn't choose the equipped. He equips the chosen. Their lives were not marked by perfection, but by humble obedience. They were ordinary people who yielded to an extraordinary God, and in doing so played pivotal roles in God's grand narrative of redemption. It's easy to look at these biblical giants and think, "I could never do that." But remember, they were just like us, humans with fears, doubts, and inadequacies. Yet, they were used by God in incredible ways, not because they were perfect, but because they were obedient and humble. We too can be used by God when we show humility and obedience. When we pray, "Use me, God," and mean it from the depths of our hearts, we open ourselves up to be used by Him in ways we could never imagine. Like Moses, David, and Mary, our lives can make a significant impact when we surrender to God's will and say, "Here I am, use me." Like Moses, David, and Mary, we too can be used by God when we show humility and obedience. What pleases God is not our perfection, our works, or our sacrifices, but our obedience. This is a profound truth that resonates throughout the pages of the Bible. Let's delve deeper into this notion. In the book of 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 22, the prophet Samuel confronts King Saul for his disobedience. He says, "Does the Lord delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as much as in obeying the Lord? To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams." This passage emphasizes the importance of obedience over ritualistic offerings. In the New Testament, the Apostle Paul further underscores this in Philippians chapter 2, verses 12 to 13, where he encourages believers to work out their salvation with fear and trembling, for it is God who works in them to will and to act in order to fulfill his good purpose. This suggests that our obedience aligns us with God's will, allowing his divine power to work effectively through us. But what is the key to this obedience? It's a humble and willing heart. In the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 16, verse 9, we read that the eyes of the Lord range throughout the earth to strengthen those whose hearts are fully committed to him. This implies that God is actively looking for individuals with an earnest desire to obey him, ready to empower them to make a difference. So, when we pray, "Use me, God," what we're essentially doing is offering our obedience to him. We're submitting our wills, our desires, our plans, and our dreams to his divine purpose. We're signaling our readiness to be his instruments, to be used for his glory. We should remember that God doesn't necessarily call the equipped, he equips the called. Our skills, talents, or abilities don't determine our usefulness to God. It's our willingness, our obedience, that makes us fit for his purpose. So let's strive to be obedient, to have humble and willing hearts, ready for God to use us. When we pray, "Use me, God," we demonstrate our readiness to obey and serve him. Praying this prayer from a place of a pure heart, genuinely wanting to give everything to Jesus, can be transformative. A pure heart in the context of prayer is a heart that is free from selfishness and deceit. It's a heart that seeks to serve rather than be served. A heart that yearns to be used by God for his glory and the betterment of others, not for personal gain or recognition. When we pray with a pure heart, we're not just reciting words, we're communicating our deepest desires to our Creator. We're saying, "God, use me, I am yours. I want to be a vessel for your love, your grace, your mercy." This sincerity, this depth of desire is a powerful thing. It's like a beacon of light, drawing God's attention to our willingness to serve him. In the Bible, we see numerous examples of individuals with pure hearts who were used by God in extraordinary ways. Think of David, a shepherd boy who became a king, or Mary, a young girl who became the mother of Jesus. Their hearts were pure, their desires genuine, and God used them in ways they could never have imagined. So when you pray the prayer, "Use me, God," from a place of a pure heart, you're not just saying words. You're inviting God to take control of your life, to guide your steps, to use you as a vessel for his glory. And God, in his infinite love and wisdom, will use you. He may not use you in ways you expect, or in ways that the world deems significant, but he will use you. He will infuse your life with purpose, with meaning, with fulfillment. You see, a pure heart that genuinely wants to give everything to Jesus is a powerful force. It's an invitation for God to work in and through you, to use you to touch the lives of others, to make a difference in the world. God will use you when you pray this prayer with a pure heart, providing you with the purpose you've been searching for. Are you ready to pray the most dangerous prayer? Friends, this is an invitation not just to utter 3 words, but to make a commitment that could change your life and the world around you. Remember Moses, a humble shepherd, David, a young boy facing a giant, and Mary, a simple maiden. Their obedience and willingness to serve God led to monumental shifts in history. Now it's your turn to step into your divine destiny. With a pure heart and humble spirit, pray, "Use me, God." It's not about perfection, not about our works or sacrifices, but our obedience that pleases God. When you pray this prayer, be ready for God to work in and through you in ways you've never imagined. Pray this prayer, "Use me, God," and be ready for a life-changing journey. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content like this.